There were 126 public school buildings in New Orleans when Hurricane Katrina hit. More than half of them sustained serious damage in the flood. Now, almost 3 years later, many of the city's schools have been rehabilitated and reopened, and construction is underway on a handful of new school buildings. But there are other schools, all across New Orleans, that aren't ever coming back. This is Alfred Lawless High School in the lower Ninth Ward, one of the casualties of Katrina. After the storm, it was completely filled with water, flooded to the ceiling, covered to a depth of 15 or 20 feet. Just from the damage alone, it was hard to imagine that Lawless could be reopened. But there was another problem, too. There was no one left in the neighborhood to go to school there. The blocks around Lawless, which were once full of houses and people, are now mostly depopulated. School officials have had to make difficult choices all over New Orleans about which schools to restore and which ones to abandon. At Lawless, there were a few protests early on by neighborhood residents who wanted to save the school, but they didn't really get anywhere, and in June, Lawless was finally torn down. This spring, just a few weeks before the bulldozers moved in, I got a tour of the ruins of Lawless from 4 former students who wanted to take a last look at their school. Brina Henderson, on the right, graduated in 1988. Her son, Raymond Allen, the big guy in the center, was in the class of 2005. His best friend, Anthony Reese, was in that same class. He's in the middle. And that's Brandon Gordy on the left, who had just started his senior year when Katrina washed everything away.
When you turn the corner, this was the hallway. This was Mr. View class. This was nothing but a brick wall until you turn about right here.
They were nostalgic for their school, and they loved reminiscing about it.
That's exactly where I was. Me and my friend Larry used to be on the computer. We didn't do work in this class, but we used to be on the internet.
I asked them to bring along some photographs and mementos.
That's my diploma from high school, Alfred Lawless Senior High. I graduated in 1988. This is a copy of it. Luckily, my mama made copies of all our documents because my original got destroyed in a hurricane. That's Raymond, big boy, and Z somewhere in here.
Can you do this? That was the practice uniform.
This was 88. This was 20 years ago. So this has been a long time. The 8th grade prom.
Even their happy stories had a little bit of a sad edge. We could never talk for too long about the good times without the conversation coming back to what they'd lost. They told me about 3 classmates from Lawless, all from the same family, who died during the storm.
Kendra was in his class. Yeah. Kendra was in that supposedly 2006 class that would have graduated from here. Kendrika was in the 05 class with me and him.
And Danica was
Kendra, huh? Nah, she was in the 10th.
10th?
She was in the 10th.
So she would have graduated 07.
Our best friend Ryan was that was her
Kendra
boyfriend.
Ryan was together for like 5 years.
5 years. And he lost during the storm,
we've been knowing these
that was
people
hard
since
for him.
We knew them in elementary, elementary up to high school, and now they gone all at the same time.
Sometimes it's hard to believe they're dead. It just feel like you haven't seen them since Katrina. But then it hits you, you like, man, they really gone, you know what I'm saying?
There are people all over New Orleans in the same situation as these guys. Their neighborhood used to be centered around a school, and now the school isn't there. But Anthony and Raymond still come back to look around now and then. For them, the Ninth Ward still feels like home.
Us, we don't really rock with the French Quarter and Bourbon and all. That's for
events
tourists.
And holidays.
Tourists come down here and want to see all that. We want this. This is what we know.
Xanthony and Raymond are aspiring rappers. And if you go to Xanthony's MySpace page, you'll hear a song he's posted there called Back in the Day, which he recorded with Raymond. It's about the stuff he thinks about all the time. Lawless, the lower Ninth Ward, and the good times they had there.
Man, I missed her so much, dog. They need to rebuild across the canal at her plan, bro. I remember Miss Mahata told me, she was like, you're going to be on my line all year, make sure I graduate, you dig? Ninth Ward, stand up. From up front to back of town, man. I got her, so I swear I'm going to put it on my